Welcome to Cosmo Talks. I'm Petra. In this episode, we explore why toughness breaks systems and how you can be a good host for your microorganisms. Because together, you form a fascinating ecosystem. And when the interaction is right, when the crosstalk functions optimally, you flourish. We admire toughness, the person who perseveres, who doesn't complain, who takes every blow and keeps going. But look at nature. The strongest oak breaks in the storm. The bending reed survives. What if our obsession with being hard is exactly what makes us breakable? What if the systems we admire for their inflexibility are precisely those that ultimately fail? Today we begin a series about true resilience, and it starts with an uncomfortable truth. Toughness is not the same as robustness. In 2023, researchers published in Nature Communications an analysis of why some ecosystems suddenly collapse while others gradually degrade. The key? Rigidity versus plasticity. Ecosystems with little internal flexibility, few alternative pathways, little redundancy, showed what they called brittleness. They appeared stable until a critical point, then suddenly collapsed. No warning, no gradual decline, just crash. Your microbiome works according to the same principles. A rigid microbiome, dominated by a few strains, little diversity, little functional overlap, is like a rigid system. It functions fine under normal circumstances. But when a disruption comes, a course of antibiotics, acute stress, a dietary change, it has no alternatives. It crashes. A 2022 study in Cell Host and Microbe showed this in patients receiving antibiotics. Those with low baseline diversity lost dramatically more functionality and recovered more slowly. Their systems were too rigid to absorb the blow. Those with high diversity, perhaps more messy, less optimized, retained more functionality. Their systems could bend without breaking. This is the paradox. The perfect microbiomes, streamlined, efficient, dominated by the right bacteria, are often more vulnerable than the messy, diverse microbiomes. Toughness makes you good at resisting, but resisting is not the same as surviving. At Cosmo Group, we saw this pattern in the people who worked hardest on their health, the biohackers, the optimizers, the people with perfect routines and strict protocols. Many of them functioned excellently until they no longer functioned. An illness, a stress period, a life change, and their systems collapsed. It was as if they had built towers, tall, impressive, but without foundation for shocks. An entrepreneur we guided was the perfect example. For years, a strict ketogenic diet, perfect sleep hygiene, daily biometrics. His markers were excellent until he got COVID. His recovery took months. His energy didn't return. His cognition remained foggy. His microbiome showed what had happened. It was optimized for ketosis, dominated by a few strains, poor in diversity. When the acute illness disrupted his system, there were no alternatives, no backup strains that could step in, no functional redundancy. His toughness, his rigid discipline had made him vulnerable. We rebuilt his system, not back to the same perfection, but toward more diversity, more messiness, more flexibility. He described it later as learning that good enough is better than perfect. Here's the aha moment. True strength is not rigidity. It's the ability to bend without breaking. The oak that resists every wind eventually breaks in the storm that's too strong. The reed that bends with it stands upright again after every storm. This requires a mindset shift, not how do I become harder, but how do I become more flexible, not how do I eliminate all variation, but how do I build capacity to handle variation, not how do I optimize for perfect conditions, but how do I function under imperfect conditions? The biohack. Break your own rigidity. Identify this week one routine you follow rigidly, your exact eating times, your specific sleep schedule, your strict workout, and vary it consciously, not to sabotage the routine, but to train your system in flexibility. Eat once later, sleep once without an alarm, train once at something completely different. You're not testing your discipline, you're building your flexibility. And flexibility is what you need when life doesn't go according to plan. This was Cosmo Talks. Remember, you're not a machine that can break down. You're an ecosystem that responds, and that's good news. You're not alone in this. Your body is always working with you. Want to be part of a community of like-minded people who believe together in flourishing through proactive health and optimal crosstalk? Visit Cosmo Group